Tesla's latest software update that brought us this beautiful full-screen visualization has been causing havoc across all mini instrument clusters. Luckily, most of these modern ones are firmware upgradable, so it's just a matter of time until they work well again. And speaking of updates, I have received the new firmware for the Tesery 6.2-inch Smart LCD dashboard, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to install this update. There are two things you need to upgrade the firmware of the Tesery. First, you need a USB-C thumb drive. The second thing you need is the new firmware file, of course. Now, for your convenience, I've added a link to the firmware download page in the description box of this video. So feel free to pause this video now and then go ahead and download the file. Once you have the file saved in your computer, you should see a firmware file called can_app.bin. The next step is to then go right ahead and plug in the USB-C thumb drive into your computer. And that's why I like this thumb drive, because it's dual interface. I'm using an old Mac here, so I'm going to use the USB-A interface. Plug that in. So in terms of file format, in this step here, I'm just going to initialize it. So I'm just going to do an erase. You could either use MS-DOS FAT or extended FAT. The Tesery doesn't seem to mind, so in this case, I'll just use MS-DOS FAT. Do an erase, and that should be quick. And click Done, close this, open up your thumb drive, and then drag the file across. And that's it. This thumb drive is now ready to flash the Tesery. So close that and then eject the drive, and we should be good to go. So we're now ready to flash or update the firmware on the Tesery. As you can see, it's still showing 5,437 and it's always at 100%, so clearly wrong. So we have now the USB-C thumb drive, and on the side of this Tesery there's a USB-C port. Just go right ahead and plug that in. As you can see here, nothing is happening, unlike the Yonzi, where the firmware upgrade process kicks off the moment you insert the micro SD card. It's a bit different with the Tesery because you can use the USB-C port to plug in your phone for wired CarPlay or Android Auto. So we don't want the firmware upgrade process to kick off as soon as you plug something in the USB-C port. I actually encountered some difficulties initiating the firmware update process in the beginning, but out of pure luck, I managed to accidentally trigger it by just tapping all around the screen. Unfortunately, I didn't capture any of the actual firmware update process on video. That's why you can see here the remaining range and battery percentage readings are correct now. But this update will take the CAN version from TSL v224 to TSL v227. So it looks like we're getting 3 version updates in this firmware. And so to manually trigger the firmware update process, you need to swipe on the right and tap the settings icon. Then go to the version page. Now this is where some UI improvements will be helpful here, because there's a hidden button where the word CAN is. If you tap around there, or you tap that word, this update prompt will show up. So in our case, we want to tap on update. If you notice, for a split second, it actually displayed the name of the firmware file that's on the thumb drive. And then it will proceed to give you the status update of what seems to look like the number of files or data it needs to update. And once it reaches 404, the system will automatically restart, and that is done. So it looks like this contender is ready to fight another battle with the next Tesla software update. But big thanks to the team at Tesery for providing this updated firmware super fast. So that was a bit reassuring that they have your back when issues like this happen. I'll provide a link to the updated firmware file in the description box of this video, so you can you can download it. If you have any questions or comments about this firmware update process, just pop them in the comment section down below, and I'm more than happy to assist and answer those questions. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the like button. If you are not yet a subscriber, I create detailed car DIY videos. So if you're into those kind of content, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future updates. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.